Are you good enough? Are you?
Yeah, bet you weren't expecting this one. Fusion isn't considered one of the great Wipeouts. You never really hear anyone talk about it when they look back at the series, and I think that's a bit unfair. So this is actually Wipeout 5 if you consider XL an official standalone entry, and it's the first one made after Psygnosis were rebranded under the ownership of Sony to Studio Liverpool. In many ways this was the start of a new era of Wipeout, and a lot of that is evident in the gameplay additions, many of which became the standard formula for all the entries that came after this. For all the amazing atmosphere, soundtrack and thrills of Wipeout 2097, there's no denying it was a relatively sparse offering. 8 tracks, 2 of which you're not going to see without cheats. A few ships, time trial, single race or tournament, that's your lot. Wipeout 3 expanded the content, but partly by bringing back old tracks alongside new ones. Fusion attempts to open out the experience significantly with technically 36 tracks. Each location has multiple routes with different track elements and features, as well as reverse versions, and you can even destroy walls in real time to access different routes, which I don't think Wipeout ever did before or since. There are more ships on the track during a race too, evoking the sense of an F-Zero race at times. This can be both bad and good, as it can get a bit hectic, but it's definitely an expansion. On top of that, there are more modes. We've got the expected arcade single races and the anti-gravity league mode, which is now split into individual leagues that you complete to climb a ladder through multiple events, which is the format that would stay right through the PS3 era. But we've also got specific challenges to complete in order to gain access to each team's super weapon, and let me tell you, those super weapons are no joke.
That's a lot of damage!
This entry also sees the first outing for Zone mode, which is an irresistibly addictive endless mode, where your speed increases gradually but automatically, you can't brake, and you just have to try and survive for as long as possible. The more zones you go through on a track, the more points you get, and this is also something that's been present in every Wipeout since. What really appealed to me though was how they attempted to expand the world of Wipeout in this game. Like everyone else, I'd always been quite charmed by the idea of seeing this far future version of F1 racing, with flying rocket-powered ships, but you did have to fill in a lot of the blanks yourself. Psygnosis set up an intriguing world with the competing teams, and even occasionally implied some background politics, with the highly secretive Piranha team being maybe the bad guys, sort of. But they never provided any real substance to that world, never really filled it with any detail, outside of the fact that we know people still listen to The Prodigy, and Red Bull is still definitely a thing.
I had a couple Red Bulls. Have you ever had a Red Bull? I never had a Red Bull before, but I had a Red Bull last night. I really like Red Bull.
Doesn't Red Bull make you crash pretty hard?
No, I don't think so.
Like many of the games of this era, it's difficult to get the full effect now because of how important the game manual was to the world building. Studio Liverpool haven't just fleshed out some detail about the teams, their strengths, weaknesses and backgrounds, but there are also characters now. There are team rivalries, quotes from team managers. They've even written about previous results and how this team signed the last champion and there's bad feeling about it. There's espionage and sabotage going on. They go hard on this. Check it out, this guy was apparently held hostage during the Butter Riots. Now, real talk here people, I need, and I do mean need, a spin-off game set during the Butter Riots. Who's with me? Of course, none of this plays out in the game itself, but I've mentioned before that I love this kind of world building. It gets me so hyped to play when I'm more invested in the narrative, and with this I finally had a Wipeout I could get invested in beyond just going fast on track. The one way in which all this does manifest in the game is the characters, because now you don't just choose a team, you choose a specific pilot. Now when you see this you think, ah yes, they've all got different stats, that makes sense, but actually those are potential stats, because at the start of the game all of them are absolutely useless. They all start on 0 for everything, they can barely operate their own ships, it's like they've had a head injury. The idea is that you pick a pilot and commit to levelling them up with the race money you win from competing in events. So RPG elements, yeah, that's fine. The problem is that until you've put a good wedge of cash into some of these guys, you won't be winning many races, and that gets quite frustrating in the early game. In fact, the difficulty level overall threatens to tank the whole experience early on. With a fresh character, after the first couple of easy races, it's almost impossible to avoid getting caught in the mid-pack and absolutely wrecked with weapons fire. Literally, in this case, because your shields are about as much use as a chocolate teapot until you've upgraded a bit. It's almost like they know this, by the way, because you can actually turn weapons off altogether and progress through the leagues that way if you want a pure racing experience. I don't remember if I did this back in the day, but I'd be lying if I said there wasn't some appeal to turning this into a pure racer. There's also more character in the animation, Studio Liverpool using the power of the PS2 to show us the pilots themselves at the start of the race. Some of them even wave to us. Good luck, pal. I've got a feeling you'll be in the hospital soon.
How long have you been disabled?
10 years?
10 years. And how did it happen, if that's not a rude question?
So with all these new modes and an expanded world, it's weird that people dismiss this as just another Wipeout. It's the prototype for all the ones that came after, and while the structure might cause some moments of tedium and frustration, it doesn't deserve to be dismissed as the black sheep in the franchise. Well worth a shot if you have the means today, even if it's just to enjoy all the delightfully British caricatures of foreigners. Look at this guy, he's Spanish. Did you get that?